Welcome back to another exciting edition of Figure Depot. Today we're taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified DESTRO figure. This is number 3 in the series, which you can see indicated on the top of the box and the side. We also get a description here of some of his skills, his mechanical weapons, I guess finance, metal working here. We got an anvil and a hammer. So yeah, this is popping up and down because I accidentally opened it before I started my review. I just got excited. So anyway, then we got some cool artwork on the back of the box, which just has other characters that are already or will be available in the line. Then we get a cool picture here of Destro on the side looking menacing, as well as this one here on the front. Get a nice look at that. That looks pretty good. So anyway, that's the packaging, just your classic window box style package with a nice little star shaped cutout here to see the figure and the accessories. And here is Destro out of the package, looking awesome. And he's got a lot of really cool design features. He still has kind of that overall classic look, but with some also updated modern elements, but nothing really over the top. This is probably, him and Snake Eyes are probably the most true to the original concepts, original figures that we played with as kids, of any of the ones that they've released so far. And I certainly appreciate that, because Destro is one of my favorite figures, and I wanted him to look, you know, classic. I didn't want a real super, you know, different version of Destro. He's one of my favorite characters, and so he's definitely one of the ones that I wanted to have a true and classic design, and I think they did a really good job. I did a classic version of Destro myself several years ago, just because I didn't know if we'd ever get one. And here he is, and you can see that they look really nice and really similar. They both have that classic look, although mine has a little kind of funky collar here instead of this rounded collar which he's supposed to have. But I did like how the red plunged all the way down to the waist, just like he did on the cartoon. And this one is snugged up a bit higher, I think. So, but yeah, overall, I think I did a pretty similar job. I don't have the rockets here, and they don't have the grenades. He had rockets on this side and grenades on the other side, and they didn't actually include that feature. But anyway, it's a great figure. Super stoked to have it. I went with a Silver Surfer head for my Destro head. This is the Namor body with a repaint, and yeah, not much else to it. I took this from Deadpool, the holster for the gun on the side. But other than that, yeah, so I made a little custom necklace here with an actual chain and an actual red gem. And we'll get a closer look at the way that they designed Destros for their release. In the cartoon, he had silver gloves, and here they've given him silver bracers or forearm guards, whatever you want to call them, but then black gloves, which is something that we see both of those in the comics. So it's congruent, at least in the comics, even though not in the cartoon. And one thing I hadn't quite gotten to yet was painting his boots silver, or like a gray, really not a silver. But they actually have kind of a gunmetal gray boot and knee pads and forearm guards and belt. And the only thing that's really a bright silver is, of course, his head and neck. So anyway, moving in for a closer look, we can see that the necklace here is floating on, it's a separate piece, and we do get this cool design on the collar. He's got all kinds of ribbing and stuff here in that same gunmetal gray all throughout. So little accent pieces that dress it up nicely. It's not over the top, it's just a nice addition. You get some of the little pinstripes here, or seam lines, or whatever those are, there on the pants. You get a nice, you know, calm but functional design here. Nothing over the top. The boots have some tooling on them that looks very interesting and intricate. And he's got like steel toes, you know, plating on the outside of his boots there, which is kind of cool. We get some nice straps and different details on the back. Nice texture in the pants, and wrinkles here, which is, I guess, the material that his knee pads are buckled to, in the same fashion that Snake Eyes and Scarlet's are done. And then we have some detail on the back here, some more ribbing and stuff in that lighter color. We get a peg hole for a backpack, though he does not come with one. And you'll notice on his head, he actually has some different seam lines and plating where the helmet components come together. So it's not just one smooth helmet, it's actually a composite, which is cool and interesting and consistent with some of our comic images. So really nice look for the character overall. Very pleased with it. It's just classic enough to satisfy me and just modern enough to be interesting for people who are new to the line and maybe would be put off by the simplistic nature of some of the more classic elements. He does have that kind of neck peg system like Snake Eyes does. Although mine seems to not be moving super well, I'm going to put some heat on it before I stress it. He does have a disc hinge at the neck, so he'll look down to here, he'll look up to there, which is real nice. His arms come out to the side, they rotate 360. We do have a little bit of a butterfly joint, but just like on Snake Eyes, it doesn't seem to move a whole lot. We have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which get a nice bend. We do get that kind of roll of the dice swivel for the wrists there, and they do swivel there in the socket. We get that same ball joint system kind of in the waist, so he can rock side to side and forward and back and swivel. He will crunch forward to there, he will crunch back to there, just like Snake Eyes. A lot of movement there. We do get our drop down hips, which will help him kick forward, and this is floating, so it'll move around and won't hinder the articulation. We do get a thigh cut that is hidden behind this, and then we get our double jointed knees, which get us to there. We do get a swivel here at the boot, and we do get toes that point down and point up, and then we have ankle pivot. So the articulation is really good on this guy, and be able to get into a lot of interesting poses, and I'm really excited. I think it's a great figure. It's cool, like weapons case with the Cobra logo on it, and it does have little snaps here that you can pop open, and you get some cash there and a little computer pad here, and he can do some launch or arm some weapon systems or whatever nefarious things he wants to do right here from his briefcase. The only thing that's troublesome to me about the design is because of how they've got this piece to tether it, you can't actually set it up without it falling over, so it just won't. You won't be able to set it up. It will have to lay down. So in terms of the guns he comes with, he does have this really cool gun. I like the little red portions on this. Little red accents, it looks good. And I just threw it on the floor, so I'm gonna pick it up. All right, we're back. So you got the gun here. It's got some nice red parts, like I mentioned, here, and on there. It looks like a little dial you can turn. You got a little scope on the top. Very cool. Looks nice. And then we get this golden gun. The man with the golden gun. Sounds like a Bond villain. So it's a smaller pistol, and it has some nice gold accents on it, which look very cool. And either of these two guns will actually go in his holster. So you can holster that one and have him hold the other one, or you can holster this one in there. So either one will fit without a problem. For some quick size comparisons, here we have my custom Baroness figure, which is obviously the vintage Black Widow with a repaint on her accessories. And then the Mary Jane head, or actually it's the vintage Black Widow was the same head as the Mary Jane head, and I painted the hair black and then made my own custom glasses to go with it. So thought that looked kind of cool. and I'm sure we'll get a Baroness at some point in the line. And I also made this Serpentor figure from a DC Universe Classics Copperhead. So for what that's worth, I decided to give him kind of like a skirted look here instead of the bare-legged version, but it could be modified, and he could be displayed either way. So anyway, and here he is with Scarlet and Snake Eyes, the other figures I have so far from the collection. And you can see they all look really nice together. They have a real good blend of classic and modern. When I first saw the Scarlet figure promo images, I was kind of off-put by it, but it's growing on me in hand. And I think if they released a version where she didn't have quite as much color variation all over and had a more true classic design, I would like it a whole lot better. Again, I popped off the head that came with the figure, which is actually this head, because I just wasn't wild about it. And I put a Black Widow head on it, so I basically just swapped these two. This is the Target exclusive Black Widow. And I think that that head looks a whole lot better. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this review. I give these figures 10 out of 10 so far. The only exception being just a little too modern in the design, I think. On Scarlet, I would have preferred a little bit more classic look, I think. But anyway, that's just a design preference and a personal choice. As far as the quality of the figures, they're outstanding. And it's going to be a really, really great line, looks like. Be sure and check out my Instagram, Figure Depot, for some action figure photography. I'm going to try to get these guys out here before too long and get some good pictures. But until then, stay tuned. I'll see you next time.